Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Knits and Giggles podcast. I'm Brandy.
I'm Debbie.
And we are so excited to talk about knitting today.
Yay.
Want to tell me what you were wearing?
Yes. So I'm not wearing a sweater today because I actually have very few sweaters because I keep not finishing the things that I start and having to rip them out, which I'll get to. So today I am wearing the Shift Cowl from Andrea Mowry. And so this one is knit on the bias, I guess, because it starts like here, and then you go this way, and there's increasing and decreasing, and then when you get to the other end, you join the two flat sides. So it uses 3 skeins of, I took notes. The pattern says sport, because she uses spin cycle in her test, like in her design. But this I used either DK or worsted. And if you ask me, I don't know when I made this. It was years ago now. But I know that the variegated is Rose Hill. But the solids I used, I'm not really sure. Like I used a tonal for the pink color. And then the other one's like a solid brown. Yeah, I really like this one. And I know that nice. People have knit it, like we know people have knit it in fingering weight. So it
and then it just becomes lighter and a little
lighter,
smaller.
yeah, looser and.
What's the name of it?
The Shift.
The Shift, because that's like the whole. She has a whole line,
the night shift, and like there's a hat, and there's a whole bunch of ones. But this one's the Shift cowl. It was designed in 2018, so that's pretty long time ago.
And I remember when everybody was making it at night before I was in there.
Yeah.
Is it color work or is it mosaic?
It's mosaic.
It is mosaic.
Yeah. So it's slip stitches, very easy. And on Ravelry, there's 14,000 projects.
I love that you keep
because, well, I think like it's good to know because there's lots of reference. Like some patterns, they'll only have a couple projects to look at or a couple testers. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people don't put the best notes either. I'm not the best at making the notes on the projects. So if there's lots, then you have a lot of reference or a lot of inspiration.
Yeah.
Or you can look at different yarns that people have used to know if this is really going to work out or not.
Yeah, and get an idea if you're going to change the weight of the yarn.
Yeah, too. Yeah. So I like that there's so many projects for certain patterns because it is helpful.
And then usually that also means that it's kind of the pattern will be well written and.
Yes.
Easy to...
Well, yeah, and if you think how many people have done it, and then if they've caught any mistakes, then usually any updates have been done. So this pattern's so old that any updates that needed to happen have already happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my tessellated, also an Andrea Mowry pattern, and this sweater is like this is a very long work in progress. So we figured out a few weeks ago that I started it in March, the end of March. And when I was first starting it, I twisted the ribbing on the bottom because it's done bottom up. And I was on a road trip, and so I had to rip it all out, which was really frustrating. But and then I set it down so I could knit on lighter weight things for Knit City. And then I finished it, and the collar was kind of wonky. And I went for coffee with Debbie and another friend, and my other friend is the sweetest person. She was just like, "Do you like the collar, Brandy?"
It wasn't even a subject. It was just, there was no discussion around it. It's just like, so, do you like the collar of that?
I was like, well, no. I thought it would block out. I know it's wonky. I blocked it. It didn't really fix it. It might have made it worse, but I really wanted to wear it. And also, like, I don't know how to fix this. And so, luckily, she's pretty skilled knitter. She gave me a couple of solutions. So I did rip it back, and it literally took me no time, like maybe an hour. And the nice thing is because it was bottom up, you pick up the stitches for the collar. Or that is weird that it was picked up stitches. But yeah, anyways, I picked up the stitches. So when I ripped it back, I didn't have to worry about like the yarn being joined or anything because I just ripped it right out and then picked up stitches again. So I did make a couple of mods, and the biggest mod is I think my size called for 132 picked up stitches, and I only picked up, it was an even number. It was just over 100. I think it was like 104.
That's significantly less when you think about gauge. Like,
yes.
And how many stitches are per gauge. So that's like a few inches smaller.
So before it was like quite wide and the collar was quite long, high. And so what was wonky about it was, I actually have a photo of me wearing it. I will bring it up. I thought that might be helpful for people to see. And I think that this is like a really good story because one, it means that you can rip something back. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm kind of zooming in on me. It's a selfie in my car. But you can see how wonky the collar was. And that was the day that I went for coffee. So now the collar lays flat. Whereas
it is way better.
Was not laying flat. And the back was like super wonky, which I also said, I don't know if I messed up. I picked up stitches and I picked up too many on the back. Or if it was just the way it sits across my shoulders. But yeah, now it lays flat. I did do less than what she calls for height-wise. But I felt like I didn't need any more. Even though I don't know, if you're one of those people that wants it to be matching, this is definitely a little bit wider. But I don't think overall the bottom is wider.
I like it.
I really like it. It's a little shorter than I had hoped for, but I find that I've done this one bottom up. This is the only one I've done bottom up. But I feel like I know.
I feel.
The Comfy Cozy Raglan is down.
Down. The Trinnigan is bottom up, but that's a cardigan, so it's
and
different.
It was so oversized. It was fine. Yeah. I need to add, but Andrew Mowry patterns as a whole, for me specifically, I need to add length to my body when I'm doing top or bottom up because her patterns are shorter, although. We were debating this at Knit Night a few nights ago. Somebody was saying, oh, her patterns are always so short. And I don't like that. But she actually talks about it on her podcast about how for her specific body type, she does that on purpose because otherwise sweaters look funny on her. And also because she prefers to pair them with high-waisted trousers or dresses. So again, a long sweater doesn't fit in her wardrobe very well. But she always tells you how to add length. Yes. It's just, you have to know. Now I know that most of her patterns are like 10.25 inches or 10.5 inches. And I need at least 14 to feel comfortable in it.
Yeah. Well, and a really good tip is to take a sweater that's already in your wardrobe from a store or whatever and measure the length of that you're comfortable with. Yeah. Which I often, I'm like sitting and knitting and I'm comfy and I'm just doing it. And I'm like, this is about right. And then I don't check. I measure it, but I'm like, what was that measurement of that sweater? I forgot. And I don't double check. And then it screws me over. Like on my tessellated.
Also, though, I have to say this. With blocking, if you're blocking it later, that I'm always like, oh, it might add a little bit of length. I don't want it in another 2 inches. So I'm just going to block it out and it'll add 2 inches. But this yarn specifically, because I used Spin Cycle for the color work, which was a couple of different colorways, and then Purl Soho good wool, so it's 100% wool. It didn't block out as much as like my cat bells. My cat bells like
superwash will block way bigger.
Yeah, so if this was made out of superwash, this length probably would have been fine blocked, but because it didn't have the stretch. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. I'm still really happy with it.
I didn't bring my tessellated to show because there's no point.
You're rubbing it out though, aren't you?
I am. Yeah. So the problem on mine, I did add a lot of length. And before I even picked up and started the sleeves and stuff, I blocked the body and tried it on. And I thought, this looks fine. It doesn't. I'm not happy with it at all. And then for some reason, the armholes are so tight. When I picked up and started doing the sleeve, I'm like, this is just like, it fits awful. It's just so tight and like the body's too short. So I think I have to undo the bind off on the shoulder, which is the 3-needle bind off. So I have to undo that and then I have to rip back a bit before the shaping and add more height in both the back and the front panels to create longer armholes. Yes. And which will then drop it down and add a little bit of length in the body. Yes. So I have some work to do on that.
My hipster, the armholes, they're a little tight. I'm living with it, but they are definitely, if I were to I do want to make another hipster. Actually, I already have yarn picked out. I think I would try to figure out how to do that.
Yes.
I'll ask Debbie.
So
she'll know.
So
she'll have a solution.
that is in timeout right now.
At least though, when you texted me the other day and said that you had to rip it back, I kind of envisioned you having to rip it all the way out and start over. But
I don't think
right.
I don't think I'll do that.
No, just to the shaping. You're right. That's a good idea. However, this is 3 different yarns, so I think ripping it back is gonna suck. No offense.
No, it does. It does suck.
Yeah,
it will. Which is whatever. That's why it's in timeout right now. I need to have like the energy to do it.
Fair enough.
I mentally prepared to do it.
That's what timeouts are for.
Yes, exactly. It might be a year.
A year?
No. I don't know. We'll see. I have other things that I'm knitting right now that I like better. So.
In 3 years, Debbie is going to be talking about all the bags that she found in her closet, and she's going to be pulling out on the podcast, episode like 97, all the unfinished projects. And guess what? Her test lady is going to come out.
It might. Because I did recently go through all of these bags in my closet. And I ripped out, like I frogged 11 projects.
Dude.
I had 11 project bags. Like I had more than that, but I kept a couple. So 11 projects I frogged and like rewound the yarn. And
I have a single crochet project. It is an almost finished sweater. Sitting in a bag, languishing in my closet. I know it is there, but I started knitting and then I like lost momentum on the crochet sweater. But that is the only thing. Okay, and my Louise lace socks from a year ago.
I have those here today to show those.
Okay, so I have 2 languishing projects. That's it.
Well, I don't have that many anymore.
Well, no.
No, but
wait 6 months.
I know. Wait a year. We'll see. FOs?
FO. Ooh, I'm so excited about this. Okay, so technically my tessellated is an FO. And then I also finished my Brooklyn. I'm going to go change my
go
shirt.
change. She can change. I will show a picture. I don't have any FOs today, but I did talk about last podcast the chicken that I was knitting and it needed its butt sewn up. So I have a picture of that chicken. I might have posted it on Instagram. I'm not sure. That's the chicken. It's so cute. Let's see if I have more. I did like a little photo shoot outside with the pumpkins and the chicken. See? So the chicken was gifted to my niece for her birthday. She turned 6 and she named it Cluck Cluck.
I love it. As long as she doesn't say cock cock by accident.
Yeah.
It's really close.
Cluck Cluck or Clucky. And then as she was leaving, but you know how kids are, they're like, now it has a new name 2 days later.
Course.
So as she was leaving my house, I think its name may have been changed to Ginger.
Ooh, I like
but
that.
Who knows?
So this is my Brooklyn. I'm so excited about this. I think it might be my absolutely favorite thing I've knit.
It fits just perfectly.
So amazingly. Yes, and I wore it to lunch with Debbie on Friday. And I think for the first time ever, the server was like, I just wanted to ask, is your sweater hand knit? Because I'm a knitter. And I was like, it is. I was so excited. Knitters are the best.
They are. It's exciting when you get to talk about it with random people and then invite people to feel you, which is... so.
I did. And it was awkward at first, but she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And I mean, normally I wouldn't have done that, but she was like, it just looks so comfy and cozy. And then she was like, is it kind of scratchy with the stellina? Because I don't know if you can see it, but it does have stellina in it, so it's sparkly. And I was like, no, it's not scratchy at all. And then I was wearing a jacket and I took it off and I was like, you're welcome to feel my sleeve. She's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then she was like, oh, like, I know. So this is the silk merino from Fire Goddess. And, it is superwash, but I will definitely, I would make something else in it. It's the drape.
So this is the Brooklyn Light.
This is the Brooklyn Light, so it's fingering.
Because there is another, the Brooklyn, is it called?
I think it's
something
just
else?
the
Just the
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. That's DK or something. DK or worsted something.
And it also, I talked about this last week too in the podcast, but it does have instructions for long sleeves, and I did go short sleeves. The last podcast I was like, I'm going to do long sleeves. The reason why I changed my mind is twofold. One, I have quite a few sweaters, and my hipster is my only, like, I do have another short sleeve top, but I don't love it. So the hipster is my only other short sleeve that I love, and I thought this yarn also feels more like a lightweight. It's super light. Even though it's merino, it feels lighter, so I felt like it was more of a short top. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to wear it more with short sleeves. Mm-hmm. More versatile. Maybe to like a concert.
Maybe. We don't have any of those coming up anytime soon, but
I need to get tickets to something.
Nothing's been exciting me.
Well, I really want to go to Zach Bryan, but the tickets are literally $1,500 a piece. And I do not have $15 a piece. And for nosebleeds, like way up high.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the one night is completely sold out, and like, so they're not even reselling tickets right now. And then the other night there's a few tickets, and they start at like the cheapest ticket I think was $1,000.
I don't have that in my budget.
No. It's unfortunate. Okay, so we talked about finished objects.
Yes. Whips? Whips?
Yes. Oh, I uncovered my whip. I was hiding it from Debbie.
Okay.
I'm working on the Framed by Andrew Mowry. Can you
apparently it's an Andrew Mowry day.
So I just finished. So the pattern repeat is 16 rounds, and so I just finished round. I said 16. I meant 26. So that is one full complete pattern chart basically. Yes, and you can start to see the pattern go. And isn't it?
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's exactly what you envisioned. Like,
it is exactly
picking the yarn. Yes. And this, I love this. So this will look so nice at the top.
Yes, it is, and it feels. So this is Brine Dyeworks. The yarn is amazing. It is so squishy because it is not super
BFL.
Wash.
It's
yes,
yeah,
yes, and it's. I can't get over how squishy it is. I think it's gonna block amazingly, and it.
Yes,
I did try it on yesterday, so. In my experience with my tessellated bottom-up sweaters, I have a hard time trying them on, but it fits over my hips, it fits over my stomach. It's good. There is like definitely some ease. I also switched the pattern, so the pattern actually calls for worsted, but I went to DK.
Yeah.
And so I did not swatch, but I wiggled with my needle sizes a little bit. I know that I'm a loose knitter, so I didn't go up as much as I probably could have. I actually was going to go up one more needle size, and then at the last minute, I had this like moment of intuition. I was like, don't do it. Only go up one needle size. So I did. And it is definitely going to fit. It might be a little bit oversized, but I'm okay with that. This is my first colorwork sweater, and I've got to say, it's so, like, I get why people are like, oh, I love colorwork because it's so fast. It's not that knitting it is fast. It's that I'm one more round because
you're drawn in by what's to come.
I'm so drawn in by what's to come. And even now that I know what it's going to look like, I just want to knit on it all the time. I'm really enthusiastic. So we'll see the next podcast if I'm still enthusiastic or I'm like, I'm on row 27.
A week away.
But yeah, so that's my whip. And I also do have I cast on my Surrey shirt by Kadri, but which also I was doing some investigating on my Instagram. Kadri isn't her name. It is her business name. Her name is, I think it's Sabrina. I'll double check that. Because in her profile it says Kadri and then it says dash Sabrina. So, or maybe it's two people, but I don't know. Yeah.
Did not know.
I didn't know that either. I'm gonna look quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have whips. Here we go.
Sabina.
Sabina.
So what do you think? Do you think that's two people or do you think it's...
I don't know.
Me neither.
Maybe go to Ravelry.
Oh, good.
It will say on Ravelry. So, remember that test knit that I've been doing?
Yes.
I am no further.
No, you are. It's due in like 2 weeks. Debbie.
So, my Thistlethorn pullover is still just a band of knitting. And that's as far as I've gotten. I've done a little bit maybe since last time. Not a lot. Not enough. I don't think I'm going to be done because I start a new job tomorrow and life is crazy. So I might need to email her and let her know that it will be late, which happens. So if you follow Size Inclusive on Instagram,
I do.
She talked about this not long ago on her Instagram posts about test knitting, and she did a poll about like why people don't finish test knits and then she wrote like a blog about it, and it was very interesting. So if you want to go follow her, go do that. Size Inclusive on Instagram. But some of the reasons people don't finish test knits are like, the pattern's not great, or there's no communication with the designer, that kind of thing. But the main thing is life. Life happens. So I think that's, designers just have to know that happens.
Yes.
And so they get a whole pool of testers and hope that something's come together. And really the point of testing is to make sure that the pattern creates the product you want it to create. And as long as you know that through your tests, then you're good. You're good. But
I read that too. And I'm in a testing group, and in the past there's been lots of chatter about that kind of thing because in the group that I'm in, there's a lot of designers, and there's a lot of designers who get really upset about testers who get this free pattern and then they don't finish the test. And I can understand that. I don't test, so I can't speak to this like personally, but even like what you just said, like you're starting a new job, like things change even in 8 weeks, or like, you get sick or your kid gets sick, or whatever, like it doesn't matter. But the point is yes, it is a free pattern. But it's a lot of work that the tester does. Like you're making an entire sweater.
And you're putting in the money for the yarn and the time. Time is important. It's not to say I won't finish it. I will, because I want to, and I will still do the project page on Ravelry and give the feedback and everything. It'll just be late. And this is the first time I've not finished a test on time. Any time I've tested, I do them on time.
For me personally, if I was testing and I couldn't finish it, I would offer to pay for the pattern. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. Or finish the test at a different time. I also see lots of times where designers say, we've extended the test time. And I know that in the past, that's something that like Size Inclusive has talked about too. Sometimes the timelines are so ridiculously short that it doesn't, like, you would literally have to knit on that sweater every single day for hours to get it finished. And that's not really fair.
No. I would say this one was a decent amount of time. It was a few months. I'm just a procrastinator and busy. So that's one of my whips. That's still a whip. So I thought it'd be done, but it's not. The other ones, do you have whips?
That was the only one. No, that and my Surrey shirt, but it's literally like 3 rows from when we had lunch. But just so you know, I did check on Ravelry. You're right. Her name is Sabina, and Caidree is her business name. So Caidree. I love her designs. I haven't knit any of them yet, but I'll let you know how this one goes.
I should maybe mention project bags. We never really talked about our project bags.
Yeah, we did. I talked about mine from Melville Tree.
Oh yeah, well, I guess I have many others.
So you don't talk about your project bags.
Okay, so this one is from the Woolen Frog. It's cute. It's pugs and it's Christmassy, but it's big and it fits the sweater, so that's why I don't care if it's Christmas.
It is pretty big.
It is. It fits the sweater. So Woolen Frog. I find her bags, they're kind of like, they have this like quilted stitching on them. I find they're well made and they're very reasonably priced for the work that goes into them. My next project is in my Ginger Snap Prism bag. It's so pretty.
I love that bag.
It has like what are these called? Like oil slick zippers, rainbow zippers, and it opens up like flat.
The inside is really amazing in that bag.
Like it has a zipper pocket in the middle for notions and whatnot, and then it has 2 sides. So this one is one of the projects that was in my closet forever. So I guess it's a whip. It is the Louise lace sock. And that's as far as I've gotten on
You only have a sock?
one sock. And I'm using this little
Your sock
this little
isn't even
rope.
finished. I have
No,
a finished
it's not
sock
finished.
and one started sock.
No, I know. And it's Rose Hill Speckled Seafoam Egger.
It's beautiful.
Is the yarn. So that's the Rose Hill yarn.
I need to finish my sock.
And it's like pretty. And I'm using this row counter, which is cool. This way. See?
Maybe I'll take
For the
one on
Life
vacation.
of Me Twill and Print, I think is where my
is the
little row counters
yes.
are from. Yes. So I have this sock and I like it. They're cute. I kind of want to finish it, so I didn't want to rip it out.
My one that's finished, I should just go grab it, but it fits amazingly. I didn't think it was gonna because it looks really big, which I don't know if it's because of the lace work or whatever it is, but I love it, cabling. And then I started the second one, and the cabling takes a lot of concentration, and so it has sat for a year.
Is it cables or is it fake cables?
I think it's fake. I don't know. I don't think it is.
I can't
it's
remember.
Laser cables. It's something.
I can't remember offhand, but the pattern is by Rachel Ramo.
Yeah, it's called the Louise
Lace. Here, I have a picture.
The one I finished, it is quite simple. I think if you were a beginner knitter with some gumption and you're like determined, you could do it. Like I didn't have a hard time.
No, it's just I'm not a sock knitter. I don't gravitate towards knitting them. And then we decided we would do a knit along with multiple people. Did anyone else finish them? I don't know.
Are you kidding? Martina did for sure.
Oh, right.
She finished them like the first week. Both
That's
of them.
true. That's true. I did not, so I have a half a sock.
Yeah, so I need to finish those.
The other
Another whip are you doing?
Another whip. Also one that was in my closet forever. This is in my Lone Larch bag.
Oh, I love that bag.
Love Lone Larch bags. It's covered in fuzz. Inside here is another shift. So like this. I started another one.
No way.
So this is the shift pattern. The Andrew Mallory shift pattern. And
what colors? Like Julie tones.
Yes. So apparently there's no ball bands in here, so I don't even remember what yarn this is, but I'm only that far on it. I'll take this one out of its little bag.
What rated yarn do you think that is? DK worsted?
It's DK or worsted, yeah. So it'll be a similar fabric to the one that I'm wearing, but those are the colors that I'm doing. Yeah.
I kind of want to make one.
They're fun. Yeah. So, again, another whip. And I didn't want to rip it out because I'm like, I know, I still like these colors and I would like it to be this project.
I would like to just finish this.
Yeah, I would like to wear it maybe because it's pretty and very simple. So that was that one. And then my last whip is the one that I've been doing a lot of. So this one's in my LB tree bag. Mushroom butts.
I feel like I should know what this is, but I don't.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yes, I do. It's your latest whip.
My latest whip that I've actually been working
I'm so excited
on.
about this. I want one so
I should
bad.
have put I don't want this to fall off my needles, so I didn't put needle protector things on this. So I split for the yoke last night. So now I'm just working on the front, and the back is on a stitch holder cord.
It's also a Andrew Mallory pattern.
It is.
It's the Nebula.
The Nebula. And the yarn is Bramble Ridge Surrey DK. Again, I don't have a ball band. Horrible at this, apparently. I do have a picture. Did you?
I will bring it up.
Okay. So yes, my Nebula. I'm doing the size 4, which I think is for 58 inch bust. I'm 50. But this pattern calls for like 10 to 20 something, 10 to 24 of positive ease That's very large.
Do you want a picture of the Bramble Ridge or of the nebula?
The nebula.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, just to show. I'm doing short sleeve. I notice, so I never alternate skeins in a multi-skein project. So I know there's a slight color variation you can see where I added in the second ball, but I don't really care. It would look nice when it's on. Yes. So that's the longer sleeve one. It's a drop shoulder oversized sweater knit bottom up. Because I'm doing short sleeve, it's going to sit down here, and then once I add the sleeves, I'm only going to do like sleeves that are like maybe 5 inches.
Here's the short sleeve version.
It's really, super fuzzy. So her pattern calls for either like a Surrey DK or 2 yarns held together, and I think it's fingering in mohair or fingering in Surrey or something like that.
It's
so soft.
Debbie just sent me,
and like look at the fuzz. Like if I go up close, like look at that fuzzy, and it's like light as a feather, so airy and squishy. And I added a tiny bit of length before I split, like an extra inch, I think, because it is a high-low type pattern where you had to do a whole bunch of short rows to shape the bottom at the back and then start going in the round. So the back will be longer. But yeah, I love it. And it's knitting so fast because it's on, it's supposed to be US 6. I'm doing a 7. So I went up a needle size.
And it's got massive amounts of positive ease, so you can really...
You can play with it. And that's why I went up, because I didn't want to go up a whole size to the next like inch, like size 4. I didn't want to go to size 5, but I know that like if I'm going to have 8 inches of positive ease, if I increased needle size by 1, it would be a little bit bigger. And that's what I was going for. So it's quite forgiving in that sense of it can be, bigger and have more positive ease.
Yes. And so that was Surrey DK, but you just sent me a option because I want to make one too, but you bought that at Knit City, and there was very limited amounts of that yarn available at only one vendor. And there was one that I liked, but I just couldn't bring myself to buy it. I am a notorious spiller. When I eat, I spill things. It is bad. When I'm not even eating, I'm just like walking around like, oh, how did that get on there? So I really want to make that sweater in a light color. And there was one color that I really liked at Bramble Ridge but it was light with like speckles in it. But I just couldn't bring myself to pay whatever it was per skein, knowing that I would probably get ketchup on it. However, you sent me from a little local yarn shop, Joe's Yarn Garden in Spruce Grove, Strength Lane.
West of us.
Yes, west of us. But Estelle has alpaca mist, and I'm just going to show you the picture. And apparently it can be used, it is classified as a worsted weight yarn, is what she said on her website. I checked it out, and there's so many colors. So I might go for a drive.
Yeah, I'm really, and this yarn is about 14 Canadian for 50 grams. But the yardage is almost 300 yards, I think.
289 yards. Yeah, 50 grams. And then it says they're saying needle size tension 4 to 5 millimeters, 18 to 20 stitches. So I think that definitely can be used. It would
knit very similar to this yarn.
Yes. And so for $14 a ball, there is a like cream color, and I might go with that or really light gray.
You probably need 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Probably 4 to do the longer sleeve, in terms of yardage, but it would be 60 to $75 sweater.
Yes.
Instead of
and it is alpaca, so I think alpaca kind of drapes really good. It's very soft and fuzzy. I definitely want to check it out. Yeah. The other thing is that DK Surrey is not very readily available here. It's not like I can just walk into a store and get it. It was the only place we saw it was at Knit City, and we actually heard from the dyer there that they're having a supply issue. So I was just going to buy from her, hoping that she dyed more in a different color or something. But
actually went on the website. I didn't even see any
it's still listed, but it says out of stock. So yeah, that's that. ooh, I have new yarn to show off.
Okay.
So there is another, like, Under the Elm is a traveling yarn store in our area. It's like in Red Deer, so west of us. South of us, about an hour. They're often at yarn festivals, and they carry yarn from other, like, it's not just them. They don't just dye their own yarn. They have yarn and notions and stuff like that. But they are going out of business, sadly. And so a week or two ago, I seen that they had 25% off. So I just went on to just look. I wasn't going to buy anything.
Just to look. That never happens.
They had Hello Stella fibers in stock at 25% off. This is 100% Highland wool, which I wanted real wool. And this colorway is called Buttery, and it's kind of creamy with like sort of like a yellowy undertone. And then I also bought 3 skeins of this gorgeous deep woods color.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't think the camera really is picking up how lovely this color is. So when I bought it, I did have a project in mind. My Hey Sailor, I was going to use the gray and the white, but then I still have so much of this yellow. So I think this is going to be my contrasting color, and this is going to be my main color.
Oh.
So this will be the ribbing, and then this will just be the little...
Yes, the mosaic.
Yeah.
I like that. It's not super high contrast. It's like very...
Yes. I wish I would have bought 2 of the Buttery, because I would swap it and do the Buttery as my main color.
Mm.
But that was not my plan when I bought it, so I can't do that. So yeah, but I think that, it's going to be amazing.
I like it. Well, then what are you using the green for?
Well, I bought 3 skeins so that I could make a sweater.
Oh, okay, so your intention wasn't buying these for anything specific. It was...
Well, the Buttery was definitely for the Hey Sailor, but I was going to do the gray that I have from Brine.
Right.
So that was my plan. And then I bought this with... Actually, I did have an idea in mind. The Cagery, Sabina that we were just talking about, she has I'm doing the Surrey shirt, which is like a boat neck or V-neck, but I'm doing the boat neck. Her patterns are so versatile. Like, she has 2 different patterns. You have to pay for both of them, buy both of them. But she has another one. I forget what it is. Like, whatever. But that's what I was thinking, was that this would be enough to make one of her patterns. I haven't picked one yet, but it'll be something like that. And her patterns, I find a lot of them are very, like, everyday wearable. Like, you could pair them with jeans or leggings and...
Creating, like, a capsule wardrobe type situation.
Yeah, and I love green. I haven't knit a lot of green things. My Tessellate is my first green knit. But green is, like, my favorite color, so it's weird that I haven't knit. So I picked green, and, But if you are looking for yarn or whatever, go to Under the Elm and check them out. Maybe help them get rid of some of their stuff.
Clear out some of their stuff. Well, we can talk about patterns.
Yeah.
Yes. I have 3. I save a million patterns every week on Instagram or on Ravelry and buy the patterns and whatever. But I made a note for just sharing 3.
I have 2. Let's see if we have any of the same. That'd be funny.
Okay. So the first one is the Ghost Stories cowl by Melissa Kemmerer. I think that's how you say it. It's 2 skeins of DK, and you can make... I'm going to pull the picture. Where is the picture? There it is. No, I got it. Here we go. Okay. So, this is it on Ravelry. It is a Halloween cowl.
Yes.
It's little ghosts.
Oh, that's cute.
So like I said, it's 2 skeins of DK, but then you invert them to make 2 cowls. So you get 2 cowls out of 2 skeins. So one would be, on this one, the orange could be the main, or it could be the ghosts, just like that. Cute color work pattern. It would probably knit up really quickly. But that one was one of them that I had to share. And then, the Colorwork Cuff Club. Have you heard of this?
No.
The Colorwork Cuff Club Socks by Summer Lee. So.
Oh, I love her design.
So the thing is, you purchase this, so it's $13.99 USD for this pattern. but you get 12. It's a
Gross.
monthly thing.
Oh,
So
fun.
it started in August of this year, and it'll run till July of next year. And you purchase it, and you'll get the base sock pattern, and every month you get a new colorwork cuff. So if you purchased it today, you'd get the last few months already, and then there'll be an update every month with the new colorwork cuff, so you can knit a pair of socks every month and have a new
I
pair.
love it.
So far, like, I didn't take pictures of everything.
I love that it's not all at once, so you're not like overwhelmed. It's like
you have to pick one, but like just these couple, like there's the little ghosts and little apples, and she has one that has like vines or something.
Do you preview all 12 or some of them a mystery?
I don't know.
I want a mystery.
I think you'll know when it's released. Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. So
Okay, you find the coolest patterns.
That one's kind of cool.
Mine aren't that cool.
As a non-sock knitter, I feel like that kind of gets me excited about it because it's like something to look
you'll do the
forward
cuff
to.
and then it'll be in your closet for 2 years.
but then wait, I have something to share about socks in a little bit, and then this is helpful for people like me. But now my last pattern, I want to do some gift knitting for Christmas. We'll see how much that happens. But my niece that I knit the chicken for, she's very knit worthy. She loves all the knitted things. I've knit her a love note. I've knit her multiple cardigans since she was, she's 6. So throughout her life, hats, various things. Her request for Christmas last year, I'll have to bring it sometime. My daughter loves frogs, so I got her this knitted frog. I purchased it on Etsy actually because I didn't have time to knit the frog myself. And then I knit it clothing. So I knit it like pants with suspenders, and I knitted a hoodie and a scarf. So my nieces see these and they want them. So I'm going to order more knitted frogs so I don't have to knit those myself. And then I'm going to knit them clothes. But for my one niece, Haley, I'm going to knit her frog, a sweater, and then knit her a matching one in the same color.
Oh, that'd be adorable.
So the one I'm going to probably knit is the spelt cardigan.
So hold on, is there like actual frog patterns?
You can get... Okay, so the pattern that I used for my daughter, there's a... I
Like
can't
frog
pull it up.
clothing patterns.
There's like stuffy toy clothing that you can find on Ravelry.
No way.
But the one that I used for the hoodie was... there's a stuffed rabbit pattern off the top of my head. I cannot remember who designed it. I'll have to find it and post it somewhere. Okay. And it has the hoodie that comes with the rabbit pattern and a little stuffed rabbit that you can also knit to go in the pocket of the hoodie. So I just used the hoodie. I purchased it and I used the hoodie pattern to make it for the frog. And then I just did a scarf myself and did like a buttonhole to then put the one end of the scarf through the other so it ties around its neck by doing that. And then I think maybe the pants were also a pattern that I purchased, and then I just myself added suspenders to it that cross in the back, and then they can stay on. So yeah, so for my niece, I'm going to probably knit her I'll use the same hoodie pattern, the stuffy hoodie pattern, and just not do the hood so that I can make it kind of match. So this is the spelt pattern by Lisa Chemery that I'm going to knit for my niece. It uses DK yarn. The sizes are great. So it goes from 3 months to 10 years old. And I'm going to add sleeves to it. So a project, there's a million projects for this pattern on Ravelry, and people have altered it slightly. So somebody, has added long sleeves. And this person's pattern was for a 6-month size. So it's fine. I would just pick up the right amount of stitches on the sleeve based on the size 6.
Yeah.
And make sleeves. It wouldn't be that difficult. So I'm going to make her this sweater and then her frog a matching sweater.
That's adorable.
Yes. My other niece also wants a frog, her sister. But I will not knit her a sweater as well. I know I won't have time to do this because she's also older and it would be more knitting time to knit a larger size. So I'm going to knit her a toque. So her toque will just be the same color as her frog's sweater.
That's a cute idea. I like that.
So those are my patterns that I wanted to share.
Okay, so I have 2. One is by Johanna of Yarn Me Up, and she's just calling for testers right now, but I really wanted to show this design. It is a hoodie, and maybe somebody that's watching us wants to test for her. It's hard to see in these photos, but the reason why this really called to me is it's got some really cool details, including a braid up the back. It's cable. It's cabled up the back, and then there is, I won't even show it, it's hard to see, but there's like braided design on the wrists as well near the cuffs. So that's really cool, and I have never tested anything, and I don't have time right now in my life to test anything, but if I could, I probably would test that. Although, that being said, I've never made a hoodie either, so that's a little intimidating. But if you have and you want to test it, Johanna of Yarn Me Up is looking for testers for that. And
well, I've knit a frog hoodie, and I can say that the hoodies aren't that bad.
Fair enough. And apparently I'm on a hoodie kick because the other one is Tin Can Knits released the Besties hoodie this week, and the colors, it's bright. I wouldn't knit it in those colors. But it's so fun.
It reminds me, it's like a throwback to the 80s and 90s or something.
Yes.
Like, was it in the 90s that the snowsuits were all like this?
Yes.
And I remember like there being like ski jackets that were pullover kind with like some sort of pocket like that.
And it comes in like all of the sizes from newborn to like, I don't even know, 6XL or something. But I could see myself, when I first saw it, I was like, I need it. I almost bought the pattern, but then I was like, dude, when will you knit this? But I was like dreaming up my colors, and I love the mustard pouch. I think I would do like mustard and then like charcoal, maybe some cream, and then maybe like a dark teal or something.
That looks really nice.
Right?
I'm imagining.
I know. So I definitely want to make this. Also, what I love about this pattern is I want to quote it so I don't get it wrong. It is written for 6 different weights of yarn. You can knit it in sock all the way up to Aran.
That's crazy.
Yes. So
it'd be really fast.
So fast, so versatile, and you can stash bust it. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
yes, that's my hoodie. That's my hoodie.
Like mustard and cream and charcoal and teal.
That's exactly what I want to make. Right?
Well, clearly there's like a trend.
There is a trend.
When all the yarn that's here is
in
the
our
same.
pile.
But you just mix and match them.
Yes, it would be so cute. Okay, maybe I will buy that pattern. And I love that it's like so versatile.
It goes all the way to Aran. That would be so fast. But
I think I would make a worsted one.
Yeah.
Maybe DK, but probably worsted.
Are there lots of projects yet? Or like from testers?
There was some testers, but they released it like literally 4 days ago.
Well, I'm curious if they tested the Aran weight. I want to know what it looks like. Like how the fabric looks.
Let me see what I can find here.
Because I feel like the pocket would be so holy, maybe? Like, I don't know how to describe what I'm envisioning, but...
I don't know what you're envisioning either. I don't think it'll be holy.
They'll
change the needle size.
This is true. But like, I don't know how to envision.
Apparently, I don't know how to find projects on here.
Well, this isn't the Rabbit app, so I think like at the top here somewhere. Projects.
Oh yeah, there we go. 17 projects.
That's not that many.
No. Okay, yeah. And a lot of them are using their photos. So they're just starting on them, obviously. So that's okay. Well, I don't need it right now, so I'm gonna wait a little bit, and then I'm gonna decide.
It's on the list. It's favorited.
It is favorited for sure. Okay. Do you have any?
Well, I have something else to talk about. Like that's kind of like pattern wise, and takes me back to the whole sock thing, knitting one sock. Okay. So I watched Needles at the Ready podcast with Kevin and Ray, and they just filmed on the weekend, so they released on Saturday, I think. And they talked about this knit along and this cause for this kid who's in eastern United States somewhere, I think northeast Maine area, up there. And his name is Sam. And Sam has a rare life-threatening disease called, I don't want to get this wrong, vanishing white matter disease. And I'd never heard of this. So if you go to vwmff.org, there's no cure or treatment for the disease. So they're trying to raise awareness and also funds for this organization and this disease. But they're doing it through, it's called Socks for Sam. And I have a picture of Sam. So the Instagram is Knit Socks for Sam. And there's Sam. And you can see he's wearing mismatched socks. So they want people to knit one sock and send it to them. And then they're going to make pairs and sell them and raise money. And you can also do the knit along.
That's so cute.
And so the knit along, they just like posted about this yesterday. Hashtag Socks for Sam Cal, if you want to use that tag. And you can go and knit a sock. You can knit pairs of socks if you want and keep them, and just participate in the knit along and raise awareness for the Socks for Sam. But if you knit one or knit another one in a totally different yard, whatever, send in all these socks to them, and they'll do their thing to raise money and awareness. So cool. The knit along starts in December and goes till January, and you can use any sock patterns that you want to use.
I love it.
Yeah, and they're going to do giveaways even for the Cal. So if you are motivated by prizes, that's another thing. But I think it's just cool to, if you're like me and you knit one sock and you have this second sock syndrome, maybe
send your sock away.
Send your sock away, and you don't have to have it sitting there staring at you for years, going, knit me. So, yeah, I thought that was great. So thanks, Kevin Ray, for sharing. Because I thought it was great. And now I'm following that. And I haven't gone to the Instagram profile today, but a few days ago, there weren't a lot of followers, but it's picking up a lot. And I know that I think it's Sam's parents that will be going to Rhinebeck this coming weekend.
Cool.
And collecting. People are like, can we give you socks at Rhinebeck? Because they're going to be there to raise awareness about Socks for Sam. But they're going to, I guess, be on the hill at Rhinebeck collecting single socks that day even. So if you're at Rhinebeck,
take a sock.
Which we will. Take us.
Take us. I'll bring my Louise sock. I'll donate it.
I'll bring my sock.
Take us to Rhinebeck.
I have so much FOMO. I need a moment of silence.
Well, while you're having a moment of silence, that reminded me, we didn't talk about wish list yet.
Oh. I didn't put a wish. I don't have a wish list this week.
Because last time I was like, I don't have a wish list, and you were like, I want to go on this trip. And I was like, ooh, we're thinking big? Like, I thought we were talking about, like,
well, I want to go to Rhinebeck next year. So if anyone wants to meet us there, come. Let's do this.
First we need to get there.
Yes.
But my wish list is actually a trip as well. I will not be going on this trip. I know it is not feasible, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. Knitting in Tulum. Yes. Hosted by Farmer's Daughter and Ritual Dyes with a special guest of Andrea Mowry. And obviously we love Andrea Mowry. I'd love to meet her. I'm actually one of those weird, like, awkward people that I don't know if I would actually feel comfortable meeting someone. I would fake it to, like, make it. But even when we went to Knit City, like, we ran into Tracy, the grocery girl, so I was just like,
my awkward thing was talking to Megan Nodecker because I've been taking her pattern writing course. I signed up for it. I started doing it. I'm not done it yet. And it's great because it's self-paced and it's so informative. If you are looking for, if you have the desire to write patterns, then I suggest you go take it. But she was like standing. There was lots of people on the rooftop party. And I like walked up and it was like verbal vomit. And
I wasn't there for this.
No, you weren't. I think I had gone to get you a drink.
Did you explode my beer? Is this like right after, before?
Yes, that
before
was
or after you exploded my beer.
I think. But
Debbie brings me a beer and she's like, I'm really sorry. My thumb. I put my thumb in your beer. And I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Okay.
Why?
Because they were putting the lime in the Corona. And you want the lime to sink, and normally you plug the hole and you turn it upside down and the lime goes to the bottom. That did not happen. My thumb was too small. So I flipped it upside down and the beer came flying out all over the bar. It was not good. And then it was just like foam. You might have got half a beer, maybe. But it was...
Well, and then she tells me the story, and I was like, so I got a new beer, right? And she's like, nope, that's the beer. I'm like, yum. But clearly I drank it anyway.
I was so flustered, and then I was just verbally vomited at Megan.
What did that look like? Like, what did you say?
I was trying to, in my head, think of the name of the course. Again, clearly I don't remember it even today, but it's a knit design course. And I was like, hi, I'm Debbie. I'm signed up for your, yeah, it's like, it was just awkward. Sorry, Megan.
I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
So my like soapbox thing about like celebrities or people that we recognize, especially with social media these days, we feel like we know somebody, but like we're following them, we're immersed in whatever they're sharing with the world on social media. But when they meet us, like we're one in a million people or 1 in 1,000 or whatever. But to them, they're like one person to us, right? So my kind of soapbox is I feel like there's sometimes an expectation when you meet people that you know through social media or whatever, and there's an expectation of them being like super friendly and kind and all these things. And I think that once we become super famous, it might be a little bit like not off-putting, but like if someone comes up to me and I don't know who they are, I'm gonna need a second. Like I'm gonna need a minute to be like, oh yes, yeah, so you watch our podcast, that's amazing, thank you, we appreciate you.
Not to say don't come talk to us, because
please do come talk to us. But I think the flip side of that is I'm sure Megan was just like, yes, of course, I know what you're, like she gets it.
A little overwhelming probably, because she's been around for years designing patterns and teaching courses, and I think that was the first time maybe she's taught in Knit City, but for sure the first time she'd been to Calgary even, and she was there by herself. And so we had a little chat about how she's been liking being in Calgary and stuff, and to us it's like it's just Calgary, but to her it's a cool place that she's never been before. So I'm sure it can be overwhelming. And even if you have, talking to a screen and to each other is not the same as meeting people in person and like having to perform. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit, because
to be this social image, or this like,
Yes. And also like at something like Knit City, okay, so we were there for the kickoff party, so it was the first day, but let's say it's the third day and somebody has been peopling all weekend. I just think of people who are like, oh yeah, I met this person and they were kind of like, not as friendly as I thought they would be. But I'm like, in real life, maybe they just spilled coffee on themselves and they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, or maybe they just talked to like 100 other people and it wasn't about you. There's a book called The 4 Agreements. I don't know. But there is, the book talks, one of the agreements is that whatever happens in your life, it's not about you. So like if you need to remind yourself that if like you're walking through the office and you run into your boss and you say hi and they're like, hey, and keep walking and you're like, oh, he's mad at me, it's not about you. I try to remind myself that a lot when I'm like interacting. For example, on Friday when we met our server, who was a knitter, afterwards, I was sort of beating myself up because I felt like I was a little bit self-involved in, figuring out what pizza I wanted to order for lunch. And then we were talking about our podcast stuff. So she came over and talked to us a couple of times, and I wouldn't say that I was unfriendly, but I didn't even think to ask her what she is currently knitting on, which would have been nice. And I didn't think to mention Fiddlesticks because she's obviously a local and she could have come to our knit group. And like, so in hindsight, I was kind of like, I wasn't as friendly and I didn't offer as much information or questions as I could have. And, and maybe she walked away from that being like, oh, maybe I was bugging them. And we didn't feel bothered at all. If you're watching our podcast, if you are the waitress, we were not bothered at all. I was so excited that you noticed my shirt. It made my day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about perception.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a tangent off in the middle of nowhere.
Enjoy. It's what we do.
we are on to reading.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Okay.
What are you reading these days?
Well, I read The Au Pair Affair. I finished that one by Tessa Bailey. I'll show a picture. So, I do read other genres, but for a long time, I've just been reading romance. So, I have read other things, and I do occasionally, but, you know, rom-coms and, like, just generally romance, they're somewhat mindless reads. So, you don't have to, like, get super emotionally invested or anything like that, and they're just enjoyable. So, this one, The Au Pair Affair with Tessa Bailey, it's the second one in kind of this series. The first one was a golfer and a caddy. This one's a hockey player and his au pair, his nanny, not his nanny, the nanny for his child. Because that would have been a weird trope.
It's super weird. I feel like that's out there.
It probably is. Adults who want nannies, if they like that. But he's hired the nanny for his daughter. I didn't love it. And that's okay. Not all books are for all people.
That's right.
So, and it's not to say I don't like Tessa Bailey even, because I've read lots of her books, and I even liked the last one, the golfing one. But I found this one was high on the spice and low on the story. The characters weren't super awesomely developed or something. Like, there was just something missing for me. So, but I finished it. You know, I didn't DNF that one. DNF, did not finish. But the one that I'm reading now is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. It's a rom-com as well.
We've discussed this. I have read it, but I don't remember any of it. I actually requested it again from Libby, and then when it came in, it downloaded on my Kobo as 99% read, so I obviously have already read it.
Now, so this one, we talked about this, like, the other day, how you're like, how can you not finish books? I just get sucked into them, and I can't put them down. And
well, if it's a good book, a good book, I get sucked in. If it's like not crappy, I shouldn't say crappy, but if it is a book that doesn't have a lot of banter or character build, if it's like what you said, like sometimes spicy books are just spicy, and that's not my jam. I really love like a rom-com.
So The Unhoneymooners is one where I'm like, I need to read some more. So I was like reading it last night and like falling asleep, and I'm like, okay, I need to, and I was reading it on my Kobo, so I'm like, you know, trying to tag the page to remember where I am, and then got up this morning and drinking my coffee and reading it again.
Good.
And it's super hilarious. Like, I don't want to give spoilers, but like there's a moment where they're at a wedding and all the guests and the wedding party, except for 2 people, ate the seafood buffet, and every single person is vomiting.
I remember this. I feel, yes.
It is really funny to like think about this scenario. Is this the
one where she goes on her sister's honeymoon?
The sister's
I have read this book.
The Unhoneymooners. Yes. And it's really funny. And I'm not even that far in. I'm like maybe a third of the way through the book so far, and I totally recommend it. It's really good. So that's what I've read, and that's what I am reading. And I want to talk about something that's being released soon. So because I follow some of these authors on Instagram, I do follow Tessa Bailey, who wrote The Au Pair Affair. And she posted on Instagram the other day how she has a short romance being released in November as part of, it's called the Under the Mistletoe short story set, and there's 5 authors with 5 books. I've seen this. So 5 authors and 5 stories, and this is like her post on Instagram, and so they're all holiday themed if you like to kind of read themes based on the time of year, but they'll be coming out November 12th on Amazon, and they're only going to be audio or ebooks, not print copies, but they're all short stories. So I don't know the price point on these, or if you buy the bundle, I'm not sure.
And if it's ebook, is it Kindle Unlimited, or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I thought that was kind of cool. Like, these authors are doing this release together.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have 2 to talk about.
Okay.
I am currently 33 pages into this B.K. Borison business casual that I literally started this morning while I was waiting for Debbie to get here. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I actually read Love Light Farms a couple weeks ago. And so I had seen this on Instagram by somebody who had posted the Love Light Farms series. And so I went on my actual library and requested the books because I couldn't get it on my Kobo or on the Libby app. So in typical Brandy fashion, I have no chill. Instead of just ordering one book, I ordered all of them, apparently, that were available. Read Love Light Farms. Did not like it. Got 2 more of the BK Borison books, the other 2 in the Love Light Farms thing, and they sat on my credenza for a week. And then I was like, nope, I'm not going to read these. I don't think I like this author. And so I took them back to the library. I am a people pleaser, as Debbie knows. I had already ordered this book and it came in and I was like, well, I don't want to send it back because it has to go all the way across Alberta. And I requested it, so I should at least go pick it up and have it on my credenza for a week or 2 and then return it so that the librarians think I read it. Because, the librarians really give a
The thousands of people who borrow thousands of books, they're like, this one wasn't out very long.
She must not have read it. But unfortunately, I did this with another author. Debbie bought me a book for my birthday with this author that was really highly recommended. I read the book that she got me for my birthday. It was like 500 pages, and the writing was not for me. It was horrible writing. In my opinion. It was awful. And the style of writing was just not for me. I'm not going to say the author because I know that it's highly recommended. I don't want to trash this author. But again, Debbie got me this book and then I was like, oh, look, I can get a whole bunch of these from the library. So I ordered the whole series and they came in and I tried to read a second one and I was like, I can't do it. This is just, the writing is horrid. So I went to the library. So then one day I was like, after supper, I was like, I got to go to town. And my husband's like, why? And I was like, I gotta go to the library. I was like, I've got these books in and I'm not gonna actually read them when I feel bad. They're just sitting there.
I'm gonna waste my gas and my time and go get the books.
That's what he said. He's like, that is ridiculous. And yet I got in my car and I drove there and I picked up the books. So I tried to read the second one. Nope. So anyways, so I got this BK Borison. I sent the other Love Lights back without reading them. Now I'm reading this one. I'm only 30 pages in, so jury's out still. But I'm actually enjoying it, so maybe I shouldn't have sent those other ones back. So then, as I'm enjoying the first 30 pages this morning, I'm like, so do I re-request those books and have them brought all the way back across Alberta for me? Or do I just buy them because I'm too embarrassed?
No, I just request them again.
No, I'm going to go to Sherwood Park and get them from there.
Oh, okay. They have them
I
here.
don't know.
Okay.
But maybe I'll just go to a different library.
Well, I wouldn't buy them because if it's hit and miss on whether you like the author or not.
It was mostly
interlibrary loaning is fine.
I know, but somebody put that into a truck and drove across the province.
That's just their job. They're being paid. So I feel you're giving them things to do to make money.
Yeah, okay, fair. So, my other book, I did really like this one. I read another book with accidental cannibalism in it.
I don't know how this happens.
And I have waited weeks to tell you this on our podcast.
Why are these authors writing this?
Well, okay, so
because it's so unrealistic.
No, this is quite realistic. Okay, so the first book that I read with accidental cannibalism, and it was a dark romance. It was called Butcher and the Blackbird. And when I read it, it was quite good. It is a dark romance. It's got, the main characters are both serial killers. So if that's not your jam, don't read it. There is spice in it, but they're funny. Serial killers are funny. There's really good banter. The writing was good. Then there was this other book that has been recommended a lot in this group that I'm in, and it's called Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. And
it is recommended a lot.
And it is recommended a lot by people who read Butcher and the Blackbird. So I was like, do I want to read another book like this? I'm not sure. And then somebody had posted just an excerpt and I was like, okay, I'm going to read this. Okay. So of course I got to the part where there's accidental cannibalism in it. And immediately I started laughing because prior to this, I had messaged Debbie and said, you should read The Butcher and the Blackbird. And she goes, I've read the trigger warnings and isn't there cannibalism in that book? I don't think I'm down for that. And I was like, well, yeah, there is, but it's accidental. She's like, how do you accidentally become a cannibal? Like, what? There's just human parts in the fridge? That doesn't happen. So I was laughing my butt off. And my family was like, "What's so funny?" So I tried to explain to them, and they're like, "That's not really funny." It is funny, all right. So this book, if I was to rate the books, Butcher and the Blackbird would get 4 or 3.5, and this one is definitely higher. I really loved the author's banter. There's morally great characters in it, so like definitely some like stuff that I would not condone in real life, but it is a fictional book. However, the spice in this book, there are some scenes that are 5 chili peppers, so grandma, don't read the book. Wow. Yes. But the banter.
There's a fly, sorry. I'm sorry.
She's like, oh, spice. Yes. So if you're into that kind of thing, I would recommend it. It is quite well written, in my opinion. Although I have read some reviews that it's terribly written. But hey, that author that I talked about recently that I called the books back, she comes highly recommended, and I didn't think her writing was that good. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know that it happens. And I don't want to give spoilers, but in this book, his dad was a serial killer, and that's how the accidental cannibalism happened. So he didn't know that he was eating his dad's victim, okay?
Wow.
Yeah, he's traumatized.
That is traumatic.
Yes, and that could have happened. It could be like a Jeffrey Dahmer situation. We don't know. Yes.
Well, children, my children, you don't have to endure anything like that. So I think I'm a good parent.
I think I'm a good parent.
In comparison.
Yes, right? We are good parents. Yeah. All right, that's all I want to talk about. And then, do we want to talk about our Knit Lovers book club?
Yes.
And then wrap it up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So excited.
So we did talk about this and shared the book 2 weeks ago on our podcast that we are launching the Knit Lovers book club. So this all came to be because, well, we like reading and we like knitting. So they go hand in hand. But we're part of another book club called the Art Lovers Book Club that we've done a few times throughout the year. It's run through the county at the library. And basically you get the book and you read it, and then we go to book club and we discuss the book for about an hour with the group of people. There's usually about 10 of us, and we discuss the book, and then we go and do art together, and it'll be led by an instructor, and there's like specific project, like for example, collaging or something, and you kind of do your project based on the themes of the book that you read. So we're doing one that's Knit Lovers because we like those things. So Knit Lovers Book Club.
Knit Lovers Book Club.
Here we go.
We're going to read a book, which is a Christina Lauren book, In A Holidaze.
In a Holidaze.
It is a short book. It's around 200 pages, so a little bit longer than a novella, I think.
I had a picture of it, but I have to scroll through all of the inappropriate photos on my iPad.
There it is. In A Holidaze. Yes. So it is a shorter book. And then we have chosen both a knit pattern and a crochet pattern. Both of these patterns are available for free on Ravelry. So I'll show off the crochet one. We don't want to exclude our crocheters. We don't know. Yeah. So you will make a beanie. It's called 1.5 Hour Beanie. This will be in the show notes, so you can check it out. Just a note on this particular pattern. You have to click, it says underneath where it tells you it's $5.99, it says also available for free info and notes. So you can click on that, and then it is like one of those patterns where it's like on a blog post. So if you're okay with that, then that's free. But if you do want a PDF, then you can pay for the pattern as well. And so that's called the 1.5 Hour Beanie by Jess Coppam. And then our knit choice,
I had a picture, but I do not.
I have it.
Okay, good.
Is the classic ribbed hat by Purl Soho. And there's lots of...
It's a DK weight, this one, and there's 5 sizes in this one too.
And
so,
lots to choose from. Like,
yeah, I love this. So people can you can stripe it or color block it or whatever you want to do.
And the crochet one, you can also stripe or do color block. And the crochet one is written for chunky. However, in the notes, there are instructions to make it pretty much in any weight. I don't know if I do it in fingering, but there is... instructions to do it in a different weight and how to make that work. The crochet one, I'm a crocheter, so I'm quite familiar with this type of pattern. So it is actually, it'll be very easy to customize it to any size because you just measure the size of head that you're making and then you make it to fit that size. So you could make any size and you could versatilely make it in any yarn.
So these two patterns are great because they're obviously going to be quick knits or crochets. Great for gifting if you, in the 6-week period that we're going to run the knit along for it, you can make multiples. So basically get the book, read the book, make your project, and then at the end of November, we will have a live Zoom where you will join us and we will have some questions, just like a book club, about the book and let everybody have a opportunity to discuss the book, and then we'll show off our knitting. So we won't be knitting together like we do for the art, but I think it's gonna be so much fun. And share our FOs
and talk about the book. And before you read the book, I just wanted to say, so when we meet for Art Lovers Book Club, the librarian that hosts it, she's so lovely, and she always says, I would never want you to read a book that you didn't like. So if you start the book and you don't like it, you still can participate. You don't have to finish it. Come to the Zoom and tell us what you didn't like about the book. Tell us that you didn't finish it. That's totally fine. If you love the book, maybe write down some quotes if you like quotes from the book. That's something that we sometimes share. And just, I like to be prepared for things like this. My first Art Lovers Book Club, I missed, somehow I was not sent an email. And so I didn't know that there was questions. I didn't know that there was a book waiting for me at the library. So I had just downloaded it on Libby and read it and then showed up. And then the librarian was like, oh, you never picked up your book. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I had a book waiting for me. Yeah. And inside the book is a list of questions. So later, closer to the date, we'll maybe post those questions for you guys so you can ponder them, because I felt so like out of my element. I'm like, I can't answer any of these questions because I didn't write down quotes because I didn't know I was going to be asked. But yeah, so we'll do that and it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. So you have 6 weeks, get the book, figure out which pattern you want to make, find your yarn, and maybe next week we'll share our yarn choices.
Yeah, the next podcast. There is going to be a sign up link for the Zoom. So we don't want to just post the Zoom link willy-nilly out there in the universe, because who knows who will show up to this, right? The internet is a shady place sometimes. So there will be a link to sign up and fill out a form with your name and your email address, and then we'll send you the Zoom link to your email address. I guess you could always message us too if you didn't do that. We can just send you the link in a message on Instagram. But the link to sign up for the Zoom will be in our show notes, as well as on Instagram.
Yeah, and we haven't picked a date or time for the Zoom yet because, Debbie's starting a new job. Because life. Yeah. So, but it will be the last week of November, and it's going to be exciting and fun. And yeah. And if you're watching this and you really want to be a part of it, and there's like, a weekend or evening or daytime works better for you, drop that in the comments and we'll keep that in consideration. Yeah. Help us pick a time, maybe. Also, just so that you're like, oh, well, maybe I won't be able to make it to the Zoom. Am I still a part of the knit along? Absolutely. So we're going to have a prize for people who show up to the Zoom. There will be one prize given away specifically for people who come live. And then we'll also have one prize available to people who use our hashtag, which is #KnitLoversBookClub.
Yes. We had two. We had Knit Lovers Book Club, and then we had Knit Lovers Book Club FO.
Yes.
So finished object.
So yes, use them both. If you have an FO, I think that's the hashtag we'll use to pick a winner.
If you have a finished project that you took part in the Cal, then we'll use that one to pick our winner of the prize. Yeah. We'll have more info about those later.
Yeah. But just so you know
the process.
If you're motivated by prizes, there will be prizes.
It's just fun. Book clubs and knitting are fun. I know. Join us.
All right. I think that's all I've got. That's it.
That's all I got. I think so.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy knitting.